On TV Concierge, the Ringer staff delivers a guide to the vast streaming landscape by discussing one show or movie per day, including premieres, the latest surprise Netflix hits, periodic check-ins on favorite TV shows, new movies available for streaming, and the host's favorite shows to watch right away. Check out TV Concierge exclusively on Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. All right, it's official. I think I've discovered the ultimate coupling of all time. Like any good relationship, they really balance each other out. One is super sweet, and the other, well, they can be a little nutty sometimes. It is, of course, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. So perfect, some would call it true love. Find Reese's now at a store near you. Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. It's Friday. I still hear Rebecca Black every time I say Friday on a Friday. I don't know if anyone else does, but today I'm joined by Jared Freid, spelled incorrectly, F-R-E-I-D. Hi, Jared.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Friday, oh baby, Friday. Listen, I'm with you. We're in that same age range, I think, where it's like you hit me in the brain sensors of Rebecca Black.
Totally.
I'm with you 100%.
2009, 10, you're just here on a Friday after work, after your first job, and you're like, let's party. You know,
absolutely.
I feel so bad for people who can't do that right now, because I just feel like when you're 23, you literally live for the weekend, and now it just sucks.
Absolutely. It was like that, for us, it was like that group email where like everyone just, that went through the whole week leading up to that like weekend hang. And now it's, now it's the group chat. Now it's the, whatever people, whatever the kids are talking on the TikToks.
Whatever it is these days. Yeah. Jared, you're here because we're going to have some laughs. I'm sick of The Bachelor being so unfun. So we're going to talk about how to make the show better. But first, we got to talk about Chris Harrison's GMA, the beginning of his apology tour, which I am not here for. I just want to say, first of all, shout out to Jazzy Collins, former casting director she was a casting producer at the time on The Bachelor, but she's now a casting director in reality TV. She works on many shows. Jazzy did an awesome Instagram story. It's like many, many slides. It's like one video that is across many slides, just sort of explaining why his interview was such bullshit. And, she makes a lot of really great points. One of them, which I wanted to repeat, is like Chris Harrison saying, I want to come back as The Bachelor. She's like, 2 episodes is not stepping back. She's correct. We are not ready for Chris Harrison to come back. I'm not ready. We talked about this earlier this week. Watching him on The Woman Tell All was so profoundly strange that like I was just like, I don't enjoy this. Like we haven't resolved this. Chris Harrison hasn't done any work to change that I'm aware of. And it's like so recent. And I'm just like, this is too soon.
It's a lingering fart on the show. Doesn't it feel like they tried to edit him out as much as they could? Or am I just now, like, that's the thing. Like now you're just like, you're looking at it at every turn. It just sticks out when you want him to not stick out.
It's not okay. And then he said to Michael Strahan, it was a mistake. I made a mistake. I'm an imperfect man. I made a mistake and I own that. And, I understand perhaps he was, and I think Jazzy said this too, like he was worried about saying the wrong thing. So he kept saying it was a mistake. But I feel that is a fundamental misunderstanding or lack of understanding of why his interview with Rachel and subsequent apology, number 1, were hurtful and inherently racist and just insulting and really wrong. Like, I just feel like he doesn't understand that it's not just about making a mistake, but it's about having to really examine how you approach interactions with like everyone, including the people of color on the show, and what it means to like really unpack and examine your own biases and just like internalized racism. And I just feel like that to sort of like chop it up to a mistake is really just not taking the accountability that everyone wants to see happen. And so I felt like not only was this too soon, but also just was not really capturing what's going on here and like the kind of work that needs to be done. So it's tough. I don't know. Yeah.
It's also weird that he's being interviewed by a guy like that. It had been rumored was asked to do the show, asked to host the show. Like, and I kind of heard Michael Strahan was going to be the host, and I was like, that's a fun choice. Like, cool. Right. And I was like, oh, it's fun. Like, they have a lot of athletes that go on, every season. So like, it is kind of become this like athletic event the way we turn into it, like we tune into it live.
Yeah,
more
absolutely.
than most
Cover
shows.
it like a sport.
Yeah. So I, and also like this season's been so not fun. And I think we all go to this show for fun. And then, we examine the things as they come up. And it's like, oh man, that would have been like a fun story. Michael Strahan talking about it, what he thinks. And I did his show once, the Michael Strahan, and he likes talking about this stuff. Like he would be good. He would be a good choice. I like that too. And I just want to say, like, the show has not been fun, but like that is definitely a problem. But moreover, it's just really been unfair and a disservice to the people of color who've gone on the show, the Bachelorette, and this season, the Bachelor. These women, like, they receive so much more negativity and like nasty messages and bullying than the white women. And it's so unfair. And to not like really give anyone a personality and to have all of this sort of like extra show drama overshadow what's actually happening in this historic season of the first Black Bachelor has just been like so disappointing and offensive. And so like, we're going to go over some suggestions of how to improve the show. I saw Jared tweet one out that caught my eye, so we'll discuss that. But let's talk about it.
I also just want to say, like, I at first, like over the summer, was like, it begins with casting. They need to have more representation. And that's definitely true. But it is obvious they need to make some changes behind the scenes. There's just like no question that the leadership and the production of the show needs to change. It needs to be more diverse. And I think like, they had a diversity consultant this season, but that clearly isn't enough. There needs to be like structural change to combat the systemic racism and just like new thinking about how to make this show. So we just need to have a lot of changes here. And Rachel suggested that they take the season off to like pause and then like reset. And I think we're not take it off, but like push it back. Like the Bachelorette's supposed to start filming in like a week. And it's like, are you guys ready for that? And it's okay if you're not. Like, just air something else. Figure it out. It's COVID. We all know how to adapt now.
It feels a little rushed. And it's also another thing. I agree with everything you're saying. Also the miscalculation of like how to edit the show. Like, it just like this whole season, you're like, we don't even know the last three. Like, how is that possible? Like,
I know. And like, I think that I really like Brie and Michelle. I mean, I do like them, but we don't know that much about them. It sucks. And we know so little about Matt. I'm like, in the scenes for next week, it's seen that like his father's coming. And I'm just like, do we as a society deserve to see Matt talking to his father? Like, did we earn that like from getting to know him? I'm not sure that we did.
It's the whole... it's almost like they were like, oh, there's a lot of drama. People love drama. We're only doing drama. And it's like, whoa. We're here for the whole show. Like, we want a mix. And this is too much vodka and not enough soda. Like, like it just, and listen, when I say that it wasn't fun, like, listen, I'm not trying to say that like, when it goes on the screen, we got to talk about it. We got to figure this out. It's just more that you're like, this show, I want the Cinderella. I want to learn about these people. I want the Women Tell All. I was like, even up to the Women Tell All, like, I wasn't excited for that. I was more like,
that was awful.
We've done this.
Horrible. It was horrible. Let's leave the Women Tell All in the past. I want to never revisit it. It was like one of the worst 2 hours of television I've had to watch. So it's over. Jared, I'm scrolling through your Twitter right now to pull up the tweet that I saw that I really liked. And you've tweeted so much about your comedy special that is on YouTube. I believe it's on YouTube, right?
Listen, I invested money in making my own stand-up special. I got to make it worth it for me. So I gotta.
I'm looking for this tweet after I get through the literally hundreds of socially distanced with Jared Freid tweets. But do you want to tell us about your special?
So, Juliet, thank you so much for letting me come on. I asked you, I begged you. I was like, please, I have to make the money. I made my own stand-up special, and I put it directly on YouTube because since quarantine, I was like, during quarantine, I told you last time I was on the show, like, I was performing at wineries and breweries and outside on New York City street corners on top of like dumpsters. I was like a cat in a Disney movie. Like I was legitimately like, just like, and you can't go back to stand up after a pandemic starts and there's a quarantine and just be like, so dating's weird. Like I started doing material about kind of the social anxieties of 2020 and the pandemic and coronavirus. And just like this whole thing that everyone is going through. And I got to like 20 minutes of material and I was like, let's go for 30. And I taped it on New Year's Eve. And it's a full special about 2020 and the social anxieties that kind of came with it. And I put it on YouTube and it's out right now. It's on my YouTube channel. It's free. You can put it on airplay it to your big screen. Make it a night. You know, it's something different. Instead of, yeah, we love an airplay, right? You know, throw it up there, make it. It's 35 minutes. It's not like 2 hours. It's 35 minutes of stand up. So it's and there's interviews and stuff that kind of spliced in. So I got to 30. I was like 5 minutes in interviews. This is a piece. So
all right, great.
I was like, I'll put it up there. And the response so far has been amazing. I think people are really like, you know, it's
people want to have laughs. That's why you're here on this podcast today, because we're gonna laugh.
That's right. So that's my plug. Thank you, Juliet, for giving me the platform.
You're welcome.
It's called Socially Distanced, of course. And it's on YouTube, youtube.com/Jared Freid. Again, I've tweeted about it 1,000 times. So you can't miss the link.
Literally. To quote Victoria, which I'll never do again. She's the worst. Obviously, okay, I'm not going to ask about the women tell all, but I thought it was a mistake even having her there. Like, I was like, it seems like this is like bad for her. I don't understand the thinking. Why the fact that they would show a clip of Matt like telling her it's okay, like accepting her apology. Like, sorry, he apologized to her. He didn't even accept her apology. He apologized to her. It's like Matt has nothing to apologize for. This woman's a monster. It's very obvious. Tape don't lie. I know they edit weirdly, but we got a lot of tape on this woman. I don't understand why the show is invested in her redemption. The only explanation is they want her to be popular in Paradise. But I'm sorry, that ship has sailed, and I do not want to see her there.
I don't want to see her there either. I also did, like, in the beginning when she accused everyone else of being sensitive, and then she's legitimately trembling during the whole Matt interaction. You're like, oh, you have something. I actually think it was like unhealthy for them to have her on that show. Like, it just didn't look right. Like, it wasn't a good look. I would say.
I agree with you. And it also speaks to this like bigger problem with The Bachelor of like who the show and the representatives of the show sympathize with. And the fact that like we spent any time on this woman tell all sympathizing with Victoria, while there was like, you know, there's a lot more harm being done to other people, like someone like Brittany and again, like the women who put themselves out there and receive so much hate. It's just ridiculous. And it's like, you edited this special for like a little bit of a Victoria redemption. And meanwhile, you wait like weeks to like release a statement saying support Rachel. It's fucked up, man. That's why we need a pause. And that's why we need to change the show. And that's what we're going to talk about. Because
Let's talk about it.
I do think we're going to keep watching the show. Although I'm going to say I'm a little on the fence because I need to see what comes next. But assuming we do, then we need to change the format. That's like very clear to me. We need some format twists. So Jared.
I'm totally, so I have a whole list. I came prepared.
I want you to hit me with some pitches on how to improve this show. And we're going to talk it through because again, it begins with behind the scenes change and it continues with casting that's more representative, but it also, we need part of this behind the scenes change is approaching production and editing differently. And that means a new way of doing it. And let's have some more fucking fun.
That's the whole point. You don't have to go through my 1,000 tweets of self-promotion. I have them written down in front of me.
Wish you told me that beforehand.
I was holding it up like, yeah, I got it. But I have a bunch of ideas because, and again, when Chris Harrison stepped away for the 7 seconds, I was like, I nominate myself as the host. and here are the changes I would make as host. And I want to pitch them to you, Juliet Litman.
Please do.
So I'm going to pitch them to you. So
can I just ask you one thing? Sorry.
Sure.
I foresee myself being a little mean about these. Who's to say? But I just think I'm going to be honest. Is it mean that I always point out that, in my opinion, your last name is misspelled?
That doesn't mean at all. So, I mean, someone...
I want someone to be able to find you online, right? And so this is an audio medium, and I feel like it's important to point out that Freid is not spelled like most Freids out there.
I think I've gotten enough of a following to get out of having to spell through. Like, if you type Jared on Instagram, I'm there. So, like, thank goodness. I pray to the algorithm gods every night for getting me out of having to go through my whole last name. So if you type out Jared Freid in whatever way, stand-up comedian, I'm there. So I appreciate the thought. But like, someone messed up on Ellis Island or something when my family got here. They're like, yeah, obviously. So it's just, listen, I've heard it free, F-R-E-E-D, F-R-I-E-D.
Sure.
I'm an EID guy, but listen. And when I meet someone with EID, I go, we're related. Like, we must be.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay.
Same
so
misspeller.
I'm gonna pitch you some ideas. We'll go through them. I have a motto when I have a motto in life. And I think this is I do
too. I can't wait to hear what yours is, and I'll tell you mine.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So my motto in life is we write to edit. Oh. You write to edit.
What a wonderful, optimistic way of viewing the creative process. I love that.
Absolutely. Because my brother and I used to live together in New York, and I would be like, what do you think? And whenever he was in a bad mood, I'd be an idiot. And I'd be like, what do you think of this joke? He'd be like, that's stupid. I go, don't say that's stupid. There's no stupid idea. We write to edit. If I didn't write it the first time, I'm not going to get to the 12th time. That's the best version. So that's my motto. So whatever feedback you have, I like.
Okay, this is not my motto, but I will say my dear friend and former co-host David Jacoby always says there's no bad ideas in the brainstorm. And he only kind of means it, but it's true.
That's right. I love that perspective.
Yeah. Shout out to David Jacoby. He's truly the best. My personal life motto is I'd rather have horror stories than zero stories.
Love it. Love
Thank
it.
you.
I love that.
Thank you.
That's hanging out with the friends I'll never forget on the nights I'll never remember.
Yeah. It started as an approach to dating, and it's just evolved to basically everything. So you were on a near-death plane crash? You're on a near-death plane experience? You almost crashed? Well, better to have that horrible, traumatic story and have lived than have zero stories. So
can you not bring up that while I have to fly back to New York at some point? Okay.
It's going to be 60 degrees next week, man. Better get back. People are going to flood the streets.
I'm ready for some outdoor drinking.
This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see them coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Okay, are you ready?
Hit me. Number one change.
Number one.
Host Jared Freid would like to see.
Okay, I want the Bachelor or Bachelorette to do dates that only they can afford.
I fucking love this. I absolutely love this. It's one of
Right?
the reasons why people like Zach, as in Zach and Tayshia. It's because I think everything with his New York date, while, ripe for us to get very upset about, we will not go back to Bagelgate.
We let's not do it. Yeah.
We can't go there. But it was very realistic. You can be like, yeah, I could see Zach being able to take Tayshia to his bodega for breakfast and then a walk in the park. Like, everything about it was like, yeah, Zach could do that.
And yeah, you're right. I never thought of it that way with Zach's date because I was so caught up on the bagels. But I definitely agree. Like, his date, now thinking back, you're like, oh, that's a normal New York City hang.
Yeah. Sounds like a great day.
Yeah.
Love a day and tonight date in New York. It's great.
Nothing better than I love it. Totally agree. I think
it's actually location agnostic. A day and tonight date is like, this is great. It's going so well. We want to keep hanging out.
I say that on the podcast all the time that I do, where we give dating advice. You want to travel. A good date travels. So it's no, but I really want to see I want you're not taking Uber Black. Like, we're taking the Uber Toyota. We're going to I want that date, and I want to hear the guy, especially I think of the guy as the Bachelor. Like, when I think of the show, I think of the guy planning the date. Like, I want to hear how Matt James comes to his date planning conclusions. Like, that should be a segment, him on a whiteboard, whoever's the host. Like, if I was the host, I want to sit with him going, what are we thinking tonight, Matt? Her name is this. She's from here. What do you know about her? Why are you planning this date that you can afford? Because there's nothing funnier than a man explaining why he's thought out a date, if he's thought it out at all.
I love that. Do you watch Below Deck by any chance?
I'm aware of it. I don't watch it. My girlfriend is a huge fan. I know that the captains are central figures on these things.
Yes, they are. So the reason I bring it up is because on Below Deck, for each new charter, they get a pref sheet. And so, the chief stew and the chef, and then usually one other person, they meet to powwow and be like, here's what so-and-so likes. And then they prepare these meals and activities based on the pref sheet, right? And so this is very similar. It's like, let's get a pref sheet on each contestant. And then as they get one-on-ones or even group dates, put some more meaning behind how you put them together. You're tailoring it to who they are. And so it's good content. We also get to know these people a little bit better.
I'm so happy we're doing this. Because the pref sheet addition to this is such a crucial component, because now, especially on the other end, if your pref sheet says, I like to travel, well, too fucking bad. We're stuck at the Nemacolin.
Okay, you want to travel? We'll walk around in a circle for 1 hour and travel far.
Yeah. And it's actually a lesson to the audience. If you're on dating apps and you just put, I like to travel. Yeah, you and everyone else. A
friend of mine was liking to travel is not a personality. And it was something so salient. I've never forgotten it, especially as it relates to dating. It's that's saying you can't wait to go to Croatia. That's not a personality. And
and who's going to, well, how do I learn about you at that point?
Also, the other reason this is a great idea, your idea, we've evolved into an even better one.
Absolutely.
Is because the bios I live for. I love when the bios are released before a season. And so now the bios become the pref sheet and they become central to the show. So they have more purpose than just being silly marketing. I love this idea. This is a great idea. Right.
I mean, I am a bio fan as well. And this is, you've now made me hate the show. that they don't do it. The fact we're only one in. I got a bunch here.
I also just want to say, did you watch Indian Matchmaking on Netflix?
I did. I watched
the bio data on that show is also phenomenal. I used to love when Seema Auntie would read the bio data and then you would it was great. I love that show. I did a podcast with this really nice woman named Shruti about it, who's an economist and academic. And she was talking about the caste system as it relates to dating. And it was definitely a 2020 highlight. Go back into the archives, check it out if you don't mind.
Well, now I have to go listen to that because we had one of the women that was on the show, and I'm biffing right now because I don't know I can't remember her name. We follow each other on Instagram. She was a fantastic guest. And
she's gonna unfollow you now.
I know. Well, she's the one that said that she didn't want funny guys.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah.
That was a big headline.
I don't remember anyone's name
from the show, but she was great on our podcast, and I liked the perspective. That show was a fun watch. But the prep sheet, I want to see what they would write, just like the bios. I want to see how Matt would take that information and run, especially a group date. Okay, we're putting everyone on the group date had this in their pref sheet. Now you plan.
Everyone here likes to cook, so we're all going to do like a Blue Apron box together and see who's like takes the lead in the kitchen.
That's right. We're going to, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I got more. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Hit me. This is fun.
Date taken a 4. Okay. I think there should be, after someone gets dumped, they always put them in the limo and make them talk about their feelings, but we never hear from the dumper. I want an interview with the dumper on why.
I would call this segment The Moment You Knew, and it'd be like, Matt, tell us the moment you knew that you needed to send home Anna. Matt, tell us the moment.
You're killing this. That's like the perfect addition. I'm so happy. People at home should be fist pumping right now. Like that's the name of the segment. You're right.
Yeah. And it becomes TMYK or MYK, the moment you knew. And they already have ITMs. That's why I call it that, And that would be really smart. Again, also all of these things would give you an idea of who these people are. And that's like the main thing we're trying to get at here.
And especially in the world of like nichification and like TV, like audiences, you want strong audiences. Big ones don't really exist in the same way they used to exist. The more we know about these people, the more we are invested in this show. Like, I think that's something they missed this season. Like, but the more you know, or the moment you know is great too, because I have a theory that like there's really no such thing as closure. So I think this would prove my theory. Like his reasoning wouldn't be, well, I wasn't attracted. It would be something so not closure-ish that it would help people in their own breakups, I think.
Yeah, it would also be like, I was really irritated that she phrased the question this way. Like, I thought it indicated X, or I didn't like her perfume, or I didn't something. I don't know. Who knows what it would be? So many things are off-putting. Maybe it was like she was too noisy when she breathed. I don't know. Like, it could just be
totally
so many things.
Well, also because there's 32 women who show up, like it could be something so small as that. Like it kind of like takes you inside the brain of the swiper on a dating app. Like, I love the moment you know. There it is. Brand it. T-shirts. Here we go.
You're
Brought to you by
welcome,
Crest.
ABC. Oh, yes.
Come on.
Seriously, it's so good. Also, then these become great social moments too. They just go straight to YouTube.
Totally. 2-minute videos done. 30-second reels. I mean, we're sing, dancing, and dusting here.
What would be the most hurtful thing that the lead could say? They're like, "This is why I got rid of her." I guess it'd be anything that plays into your insecurities, like if it's Rachel Green and Ross is like fat ankles or whatever, or something so dumb, or it could be something just like, I don't know, she didn't speak up. I don't know. I mean, that wouldn't be that offensive, but like, what's the worst thing they could say?
I think that's what would be the big reveal, is that none of these things would be that personal.
Right.
Like, like that's like kind of the big reveal of relationships is like, it's not you, it's me is a lie. It's not you, it's not me, it's not the match. That's the truth.
Right.
And
totally.
I think that makes people like, I always look for the positive spin in a lot of these things. Like, I think the audience who watches this show would would enjoy a guy like Matt James, a gorgeous dude on the rise in his career, going, hey, there was that one moment she kind of asked a question this way. I kind of felt that our values were a little bit different. Not that hers are bad, not that mine are bad. It's just not the vibe,
Totally. Also, for everyone who self-exits for, like this season, Serena, the self-exiter would have to do a moment too. And so
Absolutely.
Serena, it would be like, when my mom pointed out I wasn't that excited, or whatever it is. Maybe something else would come to light, and it would be really exciting. And the other thing is this would force the editing to be different, because they would show more interesting stuff that would play into these moments.
Absolutely. And also hearing that my mom didn't like that's someone's reasoning. It's like, oh wow, that's happened to me. That I've thought about that. It puts us in their shoes more.
Sure, totally. All right, what's next?
All right, I got more. Okay. This is a little more, I like that we've gone deep. I've liked that we've had fun. This is a very fun one. Okay.
Okay.
We hide an immunity idol in the house.
Fuck yeah, Survivor.
Right? I've gotten really into Survivor during the pandemic. And,
okay, wait, pause. Which seasons?
Well, it happened because of Netflix. So I immediately
28.
watched those 2 seasons on Netflix and then went back to I mean, Boston Rob has my heart at every turn. I just can't watch enough Boston Rob. And I used to watch the show when I was younger. So like this was kind of like getting back into it. But then that Immunity Idol thing was really in the later seasons. And now it's such a huge part of the show.
Well, it was introduced in season 12, Cook Islands.
Okay.
It was,
I forgot I'm talking to the expert. Okay.
It was mastered from the beginning by Yul Kwan, who came back for Winners at War. I'm obsessed with Yul. He came to speak at Northwestern University when I was a junior, and I just absolutely was delighted to attend his talk. I asked a question about Survivor. He didn't care for it because it was like a business talk.
Oh, really?
Whatever. Yes.
Was that disappointing or?
No, it's fine. It's all good. I just was excited. I literally
never
joined
meet your heroes.
No, seriously. I literally joined MySpace in like 2006 so that I could like add Survivor contestants as friends, like when I was in college. And like my college roommates and I, like we looked up Ozzy's previous work. Anyway, also Ozzy is now on OnlyFans. Or Fans Only, what's it called? OnlyFans, I think. Anyway, I love Survivor. The Immunity Idol, they managed to iterate with the Immunity Idol time and again. They keep on finding ways to make it interesting, making caveats about it. And so I think that you could introduce it in The Bachelor, and then like each season it could have a different way that it could be like quote unquote played. So
absolutely.
It's a chaos agent.
Exactly. It's a variable. It's fun. Also, it's an admission that people are on the show to just be on the show. So like, it's like I do think a lot of these women are like, in the Women Tell All, I kind of got the vibe that like there was a little bit of like Katie got out of the show what some of them would like to have happen out of the show, like get a following, start a podcast like that. I would go on the show for the same reason. I'm not saying that's a bad reason to go on, but like, so when you get the Immunity Idol, if you found it and you played it, Matt's like, I don't think we're going to work out. And then she's like, nope, I'm going to play the Idol. I get another week here to be on the show, and I'm going to kick out someone that you get, or I get the rose, you know, like I get another week to be here with my friends that I've made.
Mm-hmm. I think this is stripping the lead of a little bit too much agency. That's my problem with this one. So I have a counter proposal.
Please.
What if the idol that they have in the house guarantees them like an hour with Matt? So it's like an hour of one-on-one time. So it's like if you don't get to stay, it's not because you didn't get time. It's because he doesn't fucking like you.
We write to edit. That is perfect. It's a perfect addition. You're right, because then it's like it's like, oh, there's no blaming anything else. There's no, I totally agree. Like, and the whole time thing, they never explain. Like, there's 24 hours in a day. Like you could there's
find him.
It's
like why if you're not going over to him.
They talk about it like it's Top Shelf and there's like a 30-minute clock, or Top Chef and there's a 30-minute clock on the wall. Like, this weird time thing that we don't know about. So I agree that if we're going to talk about time that way as a finite thing, we need to cash it in extra hour.
And perhaps this is an opportunity to work in one of your other suggestions or a play on it. You get an hour and you pick the activity. So it's like, okay,
love it.
You get to play tennis, or you're going to, I don't know, like just hang out in his hotel room, or you're just gonna do like meet me in the pool or the hot tub. I think you have to pick the hot tub every time as your activity. It's like kind of sexy. They'll want to show it on TV.
Yeah.
I don't like hot tubs personally, but whatever. It's just my personal preference. So,
but I understand. Like you got to play the game that's in front of you.
You got an hour. Make it count, as Jack once said to Rose.
That's right, and it's like you get to create your own home game, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Okay,
exactly. So we're making some great suggestions here. I hope someone's listening.
Juliet, I knew this would be fun and helpful and productive. So, okay.
We write to edit. Carry on.
We write to edit. Okay, we have explanations, Immunity Idol, dates they can afford. Okay. So instead of hometowns, no, there's hometowns, but there'll be an extra week called X Towns.
It's a really good name. I like where we're starting. Keep going.
X-Town. So they would go, and it's of the Bachelor's choosing. They get to choose an ex they're on good terms with to go visit and hang out with for the day.
Oh my God, this is fascinating. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's an ex of one of the contestants, not the lead.
Oh, I thought of it as the lead, but maybe it's one of the contestants too. This is a good point.
I like this. No, I think you're right. I think it's better as the lead because then it's just like one person. So you're controlling with one variable. And interesting. And then maybe it's at like a neutral location. So there's no like power dynamic in play. And maybe it's like you always go to the same resort or something like that. Or maybe it's back to the mansion.
Yeah, mansion, Dave and Buster's, whatever, like something where it's
Buster's.
Like, well, I don't know, something like that's not
I've been
intimidating.
to Dave and Buster's one time.
You like it? It's fun.
Hollywood and Highland. I only went because like a guy thought it would be a cool thing to do, and I just regret that in retrospect. But you know, what can you do? We've all got our regrets.
I mean, literally, I'm the dude being like, Dave and Buster's, second date? That's what we should be doing. So,
I think you can drink there, though, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Dave and Buster's it's like adult Chuck E. Cheese.
It's lit. Is that what they say there?
Is that what? Yeah, it felt right. Lit. So,
so you're gonna have X-Towns at Dave and Buster's.
At Dave and Buster's, basically, you just hang out with the ex. They can ask the ex, why didn't it not work out? You know, everyone gets a chance to meet to like round out our Bachelor. Like, I think Matt James, his 4-month ex or whatever, his only girlfriend, like I think that would shine a big light onto how serious Matt could ever get after this show.
I like this idea a lot. I have no notes, you know, even though we write to edit, but I just like some other ones it's made me thought of I'd like to throw at you. Did you follow the story about how Matt and Tyler's roommate from New York like went on some podcast and talked about what slobs they were and what a bad roommate Matt was?
No, I didn't hear that story, but that doesn't. So I can that this all tracks.
Maybe there should be like a phone a former roommate segment or something where someone who's lived with the lead who's like not in their family can speak to what that experience is like, so you can learn their worst habits. Like last week, Mike Johnson was on the show, and I was asking him how Connor Saley was as a roommate because they're roommates. And I was like just kind of enjoying that look into someone I don't know, but like know who he is. And I feel like I would have loved if like these women got to ask Matt's roommate like what he was like as a roommate. Also, because then you get access to like what were his partying days like? Did he bring a lot of women back? Which I have a lot of questions about because him and Tyler shared a room. So Tyler slept on a beanbag apparently underneath Matt's lofted bed. Very strange. But
I
anyway,
remember when that was happening. Tyler came on our podcast, and when he first was getting into the city, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm on the couch," and I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like,
so much worse. And it turned out to be so much less than a couch, a beanbag.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, who sleeps that way? But it also shows you.
It leads me to believe that Tyler was never sleeping at home.
I mean, that's how I think of him as a like one of our modern day heroes. So I hope that's the case. So I definitely, I think it also shows you, like, I think the male female version of this, like the female version of calling the roommate could get dramatic. Like that could get like kind of bad. Cause like I have roommates and they go, yeah, Jared's a slob. He got drunk and passed out in his bed, fully clothed a lot. And I'd be like, yeah, that's funny. Like, I think if a woman said that about another woman, it would be like, how could you do this to me? I'm on national TV, you know?
Yeah, the Matt roommate situation was kind of best case scenario for exploiting for the show. But
sure.
I'd love to know what my roommates would say about me. I mean, I'm really close to my college roommates, but I've had some other ones along the way. I mean, who knows?
This is what it's all about, learning about the people. We want to become more invested. So, okay, I got more.
Okay, keep going.
This is kind of on this subject. X-Towns kind of led me to double date. There's a double date where you go on a double date with the Bachelor or Bachelorette's good friends, married friends.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can really get a glimpse of your future?
Totally. This is what a double date would be like after the and if you have no married friends, that's telling in itself. Like
I just got really excited about this.
Okay, good.
I want to go a step further.
Please.
Let's get rid of hometowns and just get rid of the proposal. We'll find a different way to get Neil Lane involved.
Okay.
So no proposal. Don't need to meet the parents. It's fine. It's not that serious yet. But you do need to meet the friends. So let's replace hometowns with married friends. And
I agree.
And you see how you vibe. Oh my God, Jared. I love this idea. That would be so much more fun and probably like saucier than hometowns.
So much saucier, better questions. Also, like, you get to see what this person's like. Like the big issue with this show is like, and we make fun of it 100 times. Like, you've known each other 15 minutes and you're getting engaged. Like, it just doesn't match 2021. Like, 2021 is the friends. You're like, okay, what'd you guys think? Like, that's more of a conversation than the one, oh, did you ask for dad's hand? Like, that's
it's way more like a rom-com. And that's what I'm looking for basically all the time. I've mentioned this in my other podcast jam session. I've taken to like reading rom-com-esque novels, which is like basically romance novels. And I'm just like, I want everything to be a rom-com all the time. So I love this. And it makes me think of the scene in When Harry Met Sally when they do Pictionary. And it's like one of the great scenes of all time. And they couldn't figure out baby talk baby talk child anyway. And you need to also see what your potential boyfriend or girlfriend's going to be like in a competitive setting. I need to know, are you competitive? Do you back down? Do you talk shit? Like, I need to know what that's like. So married friends game night, that is my proposal.
There
and
it is.
Perhaps and then you get a sponsor. Who wants to sponsor that game? Is it Pictionary?
I mean, Hasbro is
Monopoly? Like, what is it? Monopoly's so fucking long, but like, whatever.
But they finishing a game of Monopoly, you're going to learn about each other right away.
I mean, you need a lot. You need to shoot for a long time to get material. And you drink wine while doing it. It's also, this would be a great pandemic activity if this goes on for much longer. I love this idea. Married friends game night. Let's fucking add it into the show.
I love that. I love how excited you are. I love the game night element. I just love the idea of like and then there should be a post game. What did you guys think? Do we like the dynamic? We get a post game with the woman or the man that's like the contestant that's brought in. Hey, did you think you fit? Like, that could be like Serena leaving the show. I could meet the friend and go, no, that's my moment. Get the cameras rolling.
Honestly, why isn't there a game night reality show? Like, that's a really good idea. Like, for new couples. Like, I don't know why that doesn't exist.
It's a good idea as far as like, we would have to have something like, you remember that show, where they'd have the celebrity game night. It was with, like, if you had couples do that, new couples, that's a fun show. Yeah.
It's like, it's a 30-minute show. There's a buildup of like, what's your relationship like with these couples? Is it going to get awkward if you're really competitive, or was there a falling out recently? Like, what are the vibes behind this game night?
This is all positive. This is all fun. This is all good.
Okay. Hometowns out. Married friends game night in. I love this idea.
Married friends game night in. And okay, so I know we're getting rid of hometowns, but this all started because I thought I could improve hometowns. And so if we do keep hometowns.
Okay. In the event that we are not able to radically change this show.
Yes. What made me think of this is the dads just aren't good at asking questions. Like, they're just horrible. And they're out of their element. Like, Bree's mom was so in her element, like asking the right questions. She got out of Matt very much what the audience, I felt, was looking for from Bree's mom. I liked Bree's mom a lot. I think the dads are done a disservice because it's this like 1 hour cocktail hour that's kind of just set up. And what got me thinking is like when Michelle and Matt, they played him playing basketball with her family. I was like, the whole family should be on the whole day of dates.
Yeah.
The whole family, the dad, it should be from morning until night. You're with the family the whole day. The dad's jumping out of the plane too, going skydiving. Mom's playing b-ball. They're doing the picnic. I think that this is like a small edit, but they should be on the whole day and not just this like coming home with wine in your hand that's all set up. Like, that's just not a fair way to meet someone.
It's kind of like if on parents visiting weekend at camp, if like they only got to come for lunch and they didn't come for the whole day. It's like they've traveled so far. They've driven like 5 to 6 hours in the car, hard to get a hotel room in this like remote area in the northeastern United States. And all they get is lunch. And you're just like, that doesn't make sense. You're right.
You got to see, I want to see the morning activities. I want to see rest period. I want to see.
What's it like? What? Yeah, totally. Oh my goodness. That's a good point. I mean, I've always felt that the family doesn't get enough time. It doesn't really make any sense. And like, maybe it should be 2 days.
It should be
sleepover.
They should definitely have to change from formal attire to joggers.
I agree. Yeah.
Like there should be some laid back. It has to happen. Okay.
We need a costume change. Okay.
We need a costume change on visiting day. We need, okay.
After your swim in the lake, you need to have a new outfit.
Exactly. Okay. So I got 3 more ideas. You ready?
Oh my goodness. Great. Yeah. Hit me.
Listen, I came prepped.
I'm so happy. Thank you.
You let me come on to promote Socially Distanced, of course, on YouTube right now. You can watch it anytime. Go ahead.
For free.
So you let me do that. I came ready to go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the dates has to be at a buffet. The group date, one group date has to be at a buffet. I want to see what people are getting at the buffet. Do we get, and it's got to be one of those buffets that has everything, like a Vegas buffet where there's like, like the Asian section, and then there's like the salad section, and then there's like, the carving station. I just want to see what people get.
This just leads me to a question. Should they have to go to Vegas in every episode? I'm like a pretty anti-Vegas person. But maybe they should have to go. I think it's pretty important to know someone's Vegas vibe, and then you can fold the buffet into that. It's like, what's your strategy for the Vegas buffet, and like, what are you into when you go to Vegas?
I think you're totally right to edit, because that is a perfect, because I would also want to see the type of excited someone gets for Vegas. Whenever Vegas comes up, people tell their Vegas stories. I would want to know that. Like, I want to know how people dress for a night out in Vegas. Some people go to this other place where they become a different person. I would want to know these things.
Me too. And you know what? I'm gonna go a step further. I think maybe the show should start in Vegas. I think we should be done with the Bachelor Mansion and
get rid of the mansion.
Let's get rid of the mansion. It's gone. I mean, we're here at Nemacolin.
Yeah.
And let's have night 1 in the first week be in Vegas. I mean, I don't actually know why they didn't shoot these COVID seasons there. I mean, just take over part of a hotel, or I don't know. Like, there's so many ridiculous suites, and I know these Vegas hotels actually like doing this and make it pretty easy for production. So I'm wondering if this show is Vegas bound. It's a new day in Nevada. It's a blue state. So like, let's go with it.
It also fits the whole going to Vegas to get married. Like, that's like the whole premise of Vegas.
That's a great point. They go to Vegas a lot of the time anyway. So just cut out that day trip on the plane and just start in Vegas. I don't know. Also, like, plenty of empty homes. And I don't know. You can go to a concert. Also, there's just so much like talent, and hopefully post-COVID times, like, we'll get back to having a lot of talent in Vegas all the time, like for their shows and whatnot. So I'm thinking
there's
this
things
buffet.
To do.
I'm thinking also, wouldn't you love, like, if when the women wake up and and they're like or the men, and they're like in their pajamas and like not wearing a lot of makeup, if they were like sitting around the Aria buffet or like the Wynn buffet.
Just the stars are just like us.
Yeah, pile of crab legs behind them.
Yes,
so many cups on their table.
Yeah, when they 7,000 liquids. Yeah, when they surprise them, and like sometimes they'll come in and be like, get up, and it's like a sorority type of thing.
Yeah,
do that, but we're going to breakfast buffet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
where the date is in 2 hours. You have 15 minutes to go down and eat, come back and change, and then we're going. And you film all of that, and like they're just bustling through. I think I'm done with Agora Hills. I don't want to go back to the mansion. I've personally moved on.
I'm done with being in any central location. Like, because of Nemacolin, because of La Quinta. Like, I've kind of realized that like a big part and I think we talked about this, is like, a big part of what's missing is this trip around the world element, like, and the background kind of changing behind them. Like that did keep the show fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And In Vegas, you can simulate so many different things too, because it's like
New York, Paris,
exactly
medieval times.
Yeah, totally. And also, Vegas has a really good food scene. As we discussed Vegas, I'm like very much on the record of being anti. I've had so many like, oh my God, get me out of here moments in Vegas.
Sure.
When you live in LA, Vegas is just like an extension of where you live. And I lived there for a long time. Anyway, as we have this conversation, I'm kind of talking myself into it. So I'm just like, why isn't this the home of like most reality TV shows and a lot more production? I don't get it. I would move there. I bet they'd give you some tax breaks in good old Nevada too.
Well, it's probably for the reason you're saying. Like, as someone who's lived in New York since I've gotten out of college, like, I don't have this like I've gone to Vegas, but I don't have this like connection to it in the way LA people do. Like the way you just
it's like it's a weird extension. It's like part of living in LA is going to Vegas. Like the swingers thing is actually like very realistic, I think.
That ride, totally understand. But I think that's why no one does production there. Whenever it comes up as an idea, everyone in LA is like, oh, I can't.
Oh, God. Yeah. Going to Summer League. Oh, my goodness. Everyone who's covered Summer League or attended it definitely has like I've been here too long. It has like almost nothing to do with drinking or like the depravity of Vegas. It's just like being in the desert for a long time and like just it's hard to get vegetables sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, I think I talked myself into Las Vegas as a center for production. So
you don't have to explain to me. I've done a week in Vegas of shows, and you live in the hotel, and it's like it is.
You're like, what is natural air like? What is fresh air like after a while?
And you have to force yourself to leave to do stuff. Like it. One time, I walked along the highway to go to a gym, and I was like, the heat combined with like I'm going to the gym. Like I was like, this was a mistake. Like I could legitimately pass out and never to be seen again. But okay,
carry on.
I got two more.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So, you ever see the show What Would You Do?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's a show on ABC, and let me read you the description. It says, host John Quinones.
Okay.
It's using hidden cameras, observing and commenting on how ordinary people behave when they're confronted with dilemmas that require them either to take action or to walk by and mind their own business. Various scenarios are created that force people to make split-second and often surprising decisions. Basically, the whole show is this like quote-unquote human experiment where they'll be like, where the waiter's mean to an old couple at a restaurant. And it's like, would you do anything? Or like, they did like a stand-up comedy one where the comic is making fun of audience members but being so mean and wrong. And it's like, will people in the audience do anything about it? Or will they like, and they've done episodes, like racially appropriate toys. I'm looking at like all these different what would you do's. They've done a million of them. So
this is a really long description.
I know. I'm sorry. So basically, we would have a date that would be a what would you do date where like someone is doing bad customer service so we could see how the contestants would react in those situations.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot because I feel like I've learned a lot about people, particularly with outdoor dining, to see how how people respond to like less controlled atmospheres. I like that. But for some reason, I just really want to call this date the 3-1-1, see something or say something. And like you find out if do they say something or do they just take it in? Like what do? Do they act or do they just let it go?
Yes, and it's kind of like to go back to the season that she'll never be spoken about again is Katie kind of had that moment throughout the season. Like
yes,
Katie did the what would you do? Well, she saw bullying, she was a part of it, she pulled herself out of it, and and that's why the audience is really like clung to her a little bit this season. So it's like, I would like to just see more ridiculous things. Like, and it's to see, and also from the Bachelorette perspective, you see how people, you learn about people, what their measures for, acting and not acting, just like you said with the outdoor dining.
Yeah. Also like maybe we would uncover some of the asshole people a little bit better that way. Like you don't only need to see their tweets because like people who tweet like fucked up shit, they don't do it because they're trying to be inflammatory, that maybe they do, but because they believe it. So you want to see, and like people who say fucked up shit, they say it not because they're trying to be dicks or they made a mistake. It's because they believe it. And so you want to see how someone's going to act. You put them in that situation and you test them.
And even if like, let's say we do our Vegas opening night, maybe the first episode is just all of the contestants dealing with someone who's bad at check-in.
I love that. It's like, how do you treat them? Yeah.
How do they treat the person who they're just like and they're a paid actress, and they're like, it's my first day. Sorry. What's your name again? They keep misspelling their name. They get their credit card wrong. The
line is long. They try to cut it or something.
Totally. How do they treat people in the real world?
I love that. It's a good personality test, I think, as well. Do you fill out surveys after you've had a good customer service experience to let someone's boss know? Because I think it's essential that you do that. Like,
especially when they ask you.
Yes, you need to do that. And I like, it's something that I need to know about people is like, do you fill those out? So
I'm going to pump my own tires for a second. I went into a FedEx Kinko's and I had the best experience with someone there. And she looked at me, she goes, hey, we do this survey. Would you mind filling it out? I treated it as if it was a homework assignment that was like a quarter of my grade for the semester. Like I was like, I gotta go home. I gotta make sure this person again, you're right. It says a lot like about how much so
you got to advocate for other people when they do a good job. And
absolutely.
And I want to know, like, do you fill out surveys? Like, that's like in my own survey of people, I'm going to ask, do you fill out surveys?
The survey of the survey. I love it.
It usually does take 30 seconds or less just to click the button you get in your email. So please do it, everyone. Support the people in your life that you just come into contact with for a short period of time and do them a solid. It's just the right thing to do.
And on that subject, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. On that note, that's a version of surveys. Rate, review, subscribe to the Bachelor Party podcast.
But sure.
Listen, I knew what you were getting at.
No,
I'm telling people. No, I'm kidding. And listen, and when you watch Socially Distanced, of course, on YouTube for free, like, comment, get me on that algorithm. Okay, I got one more. Okay, you ready?
Last one. And then And then I have one last question for you, but last suggestion.
Please. Last suggestion. We have an IKEA date. They go to an IKEA, they pick something out, they put it together. That has to be a date, and it comes towards the end, and it's before fantasy suites. Like, Jared, they have to build the bed.
You saved the best for last.
That's the best for last. IKEA date, they have to build the bed that they have in the fantasy suite together.
Oh my God.
Let's see if you want to sleep together then.
Oh my God, they cannot get a wood bed. It has to be metal. If they get a wood bed, they're breaking up before they're done, and there is no fantasy suite. That is for sure. Get the metal bed. It's so much easier to put together.
See,
Jared,
this is a big deal.
I love this. One of the reasons why I love it, it's global. You can do this in so many places. And this show, we got to get back to traveling. Oh my God. This is probably the best idea you've ever had in your life, let alone for this podcast.
Juliet, thank you. I'm going to see if the crowds at the show tonight agree. So I definitely also, this is the whole point of these dates and these changes is we watch this show to live through these people. We've all put together some furniture with a partner. We've all had that moment. Let's see how these people do it. Like, this is what we want.
Incredible. Question. Would you allow someone to say, hey, can I get a TaskRabbit? Like, could you just be like, we're not putting this together. We're paying our way out of this.
I would say good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I feel the same way. I'm just like, what level of, like, what's your threshold? Like, what's your price, basically, of like, what are you willing to pay to get out of this?
Well, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, when they ask dating questions, they go, and you've been on my podcast. You're a fantastic guest. We gave advice. We don't know anything. But one thing that people ask when they ask their questions, they go, should you? And I don't believe in should. It's all about taste. I can't tell you if someone doesn't pay for the first, if they want to go splitsies on the first date, you might like that. Someone else might not like it. If someone calls the TaskRabbit to put together the IKEA furniture, to some people, they might go, hey, time means something to this person. Their time, they want to, this is how they operate. It's just, that's what it is.
I really love this. My dad and I joke about this all the time because I don't know anything about cars. I don't want to learn anything about cars. I don't want to be in the car space. So I have a really high budget for things that like I probably could do on my own, but I just like can't. Like for example, I didn't know that like you could get air put in your tires for free. So I was like, my budget's $20 for that. And everyone I've told that to is like so appalled. But then on the other hand, like I try to get like the absolute best deal I can on toothpaste. I'm just like, I don't understand why toiletries are so expensive. Like this contact lens solution, just like, why is this $11 for a bottle? Like it's salt water. But with some stuff, you just want to know, like, what's your price? And it's just like, it varies. So,
but that's everybody's different. This is the thing. Like everyone, listen, I'm with you. TaskRabbit, get on in here.
Yeah.
Hang a painting. Not going to be me. It would cost me more not knowing how to do it than to do it, So there's everyone does their own math, and the beauty of life. And someone once gave me this advice: you never count the money in other people's wallet. You just let people have a reason for paying certain things for certain things, and it's because that's what makes them happy.
Yeah, it's because I don't know anything about cars and I can't put power in my cars by myself. Jared, these are awesome ideas. Thank you so much for all of the effort and thought you put into it. One final question.
Please.
I saw on your Instagram that you did a show in the Miami area and you had a couple of special guests, and that was a pre-reconciliation Dale Moss, Bennett, what's his last name? Jordan?
Bennett Jordan.
Bennett Jordan.
Bennett Jordan. Bennett Andrew Jordan. It's Bennett Jordan. Yeah.
Okay. I only know people by their Instagram handles. And Ed Weisbrot, I think. What was that like? Just give us the short answer, because we wasted a lot of time on you reading the "what would you do" description.
Sorry, I got really into John Quinones's backstory. So I did shows in Tampa, and I get a message from Ed because he watches my live stream. He was a really good sport about me making fun of him on the show. And he was like, I'm coming to Tampa. I'm coming. And then I forgot about it. And then him and Bennett and Dale made a weekend of coming to the show.
That's
and
really awesome. It's very sweet.
It was
they
so
definitely
sweet.
Fill out customer service questionnaires. I have no doubt about it.
There's no doubt. And it was so sweet. They came together. They surprised me. I go on stage. They're sitting front row. Bennett I made shirts that said Mumsy on it in the Harvard writing, because I would make fun of him for saying Mumsy, which he doesn't. And Bennett is holding the shirt up on his chest. It was the most heartwarming moment I've ever had with the back. The best part, this is funny. There's a table next to them. I don't know who they're with. I just know it's them three. So there's a table next to them where a woman is also wearing the Mumsy shirt. And I thought they were all together. And then I come to find out this group came separately from Bennett's group.
So you've got fans. How nice for you.
Oh, yeah. How funny it is that you're like, how funny is it that that woman is like, you know what? I'm going to wear the shirt. I'll just, I'll wear the shirt. And then all of a sudden, the guy who the shirt is making fun of is next to you.
Like, that's hilarious.
So
really,
funny.
Really funny.
It was really sweet of them. It was quite a night. My heart was warmed.
Did you know that Dale was on the eve of getting back together with Claire?
No,
Was Dale hitting on any woman?
I'm going to say I'm very surprised that they reconciled. I'll say that. I when I saw those pictures, I was like, what? Like, and that's not to say he was hitting on women. I'm just saying it just was a surprise. He didn't seem like a guy who was getting back with his girlfriend or his fiance the next day. It just didn't seem like that.
That seems to be the response from anyone in the know. So it's wild.
Yeah.
Jared, what do you think was our best idea? Really your best idea, some tweaked by me.
Our best idea. I think
Best idea is IKEA date. That's all you. After that, what was our best idea?
I think I think the explanations.
Moment you knew.
I really like that. I also, again, the couple, going on
Married Friends game night.
Yeah, and something to add on to what you said with that, you're like, we'll find another thing. Like, them getting engaged at the end is so,
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Why not make it, there is just the amount of people that are in flimsy, not labeled relationship these days is, actually, everyone. So, I think them just being boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever it is, would be as important as an engagement, and, have that guy, instead of making rings, he can do a whole new line of boyfriend, girlfriend necklaces.
Promise rings.
Yeah.
Reclaim the promise ring. Also, what you could do in the future is part of each season would be teasing, will we get a proposal? And it's not this couple. It's from a few seasons ago. It's oh, Dylan and Hannah still together. We'll give them the opportunity to get engaged. We'll check in with them. They have this whole world now that Paradise is obviously a big part of. There's other ways to work that in, but I agree with you. The proposal's got to go.
Well, what if they had, in the middle of the house, they had a risen stage, and it's like in wrestling where it's like the 24/7 match. Like you can like wrestle that person for the belt anytime. So that stage could just be a proposal could happen there at any time.
Anyone could show up for a proposal.
Anyone could show up. Just like that Heather woman, like Dylan and Hannah could show up and do their proposal. They'd get the Instagram likes, the new, they come for their bag of followers,
We should have ended on the IKEA date. Jared, thank you so much for joining me. Check out Jared's live scream. Is that what it's called? Live scream?
The live scream.
I always have a hard time with it on his Instagram. And of course, check out Socially Distance, of course, on YouTube, Jared's comedy special. I'll be back on Monday night with Mallory Rubin. And it's hometowns. We will be going back into the dystopia that is this season, but it's okay. We got some hope on the horizon because A, I think that Matt is making a difference in this world.
Good.
And B, we just fixed the show. You're welcome, ABC. Thank you all for listening. Have a great weekend.